Hello and welcome to Old Lady Plays. I'm Kate, the Old Lady, and this is Sunshine on Leith, episode 12. So, I was away over the weekend. I hope you enjoyed the episode that I did manage to put out. And let's see what we can do about getting on with this one. Because this is also going to be a transfer window episode, just like my Rambler was on Friday, but with the difference that I'm only going to look at the tactics in the sense that I want to look at how the unusual tactic we've been playing with this team this year has worked. How has it statistically worked out? How have the Mazzalas performed? Have they contributed to the team's success? Things like that. So, but it'll all be in one piece. So I've already recorded some bits and pieces of this. Now let's go over and look at some other bits and pieces. I will turn off this thing, and then look over to the other thing. And here we are in finance. Now the reason that I'm in finance is to explain why I've had a really hard time making much in the way of transfers this year. You'll notice that we've got an excellent wage budget. It's almost $1 million over what we need, or what we're spending at least, and we've got $565,000 in the transfer budget, which seems like, not an unreasonable amount. Now here, for comparison's sake, here's my first team. Now, if you notice anything about this, it's that $550,000 isn't going to make much of a dent in my first team. As you can see, we've got a lot of players who are definitely worth more than that, and only a couple, and one of them on loan, who are worth less than that. So that's been the problem for me, is trying to find people who are willing to come to Hibernian and I can get for under 500,000, more or less. And that has been a hard combination. Now, if I had more money to spend, I would have more luck, because Hibernian's got a reasonable reputation and we can bring in a few players. But without that money, it's just really not going to happen, because the kind of players we want tend to be at the bigger teams, and the bigger teams want more money for them, and we simply don't have it. We've been looking for lower league gems. We are restricted a little bit by the size of our scouting budget, which has made it a little hard for us to look at those sort of out-of-market gems that you sometimes find and who turn into being one of your sort of wonderful players. Anyway, transfers. We'll have a peek at the transfer history. As you can see, free transfers out, none. Released players, a few, none of them you've ever really heard of. They were just players that didn't make it. Go back to all transfers. These are the players out. Mato Levicius, as I said, has gone to Aberdeen for 105k. I call that a good bit of business, because he frankly couldn't score goals for beans. Despite what his attributes might have said, he just could not score goals for beans. I don't know why, he just couldn't. Maybe he desperately needs to play with wingers, I don't know. But he just couldn't score for us. Stephen Whittaker, absolutely a decent player. No reason to sell him particularly, except for the fact that he's a fullback, and I like my fullbacks to be attacking, and he's got a pace of 8. So he's not really what I need in a fullback anymore. And they came in with a reasonably good offer. It rises to 99,000 or something like that, and that's more than his value was, and so I took the offer. So hold on for a moment, and I will be right back with you. All right, so let's have a look at the end of season awards for Hibernian, because I think they're rather good. John McGinn, our 23-year-old Mazzala, is voted Player of the Season by the fans. David Gray and Aiden White coming in second and third. They're the two fullbacks who are also crucial in this system. The goal of the season really was pretty much a corker. I will happily show it to you if this will let us. There we go. So White to McGinn to Murray. Slivka finds Boyle. What's Boyle doing? What's Boyle doing? Bam! It's a goal. Just like that. No problem. No sweat. It's in the net. So yeah, nice goal, Martin Boyle. Signing of the season, Aiden White free. That's my signing. Thank you very much. I'm very pleased with that too. Young player of the season is John McGinn. Honestly, could have been McGarton just as easily. As you can see, McGinn, Magooch, McGarton all made the team of the season. No big surprise. Hansen behind them. And of course, White, Hanlon, Ambrose and Gray behind them. Slivka and Murray up front. No big surprise. The team of the season is also the team that I played with the most. Well, well. The Hibernian season review finished fourth in the Premiership, lost in the semi-final versus Aberdeen, and I'm so distressed by that because Hamilton went on to beat Rangers in the other semi-final, meaning we could have faced Hamilton, and I think we could have beaten Hamilton and taken the cup. So that's disappointing. Our best match of the season, they say, is this 2-1 win over Kilmarnock away. I'd say that's alright and everything, but I'm sure that we had better. Let's just have a quick peeky. Right, I remember this one. The Aberdeen win at home, 3-2. Look at the timings on that. They came back and scored in injury time. The 4-1 win over Hearts. I mean, come on, that's the rival. We had to come back in that one too. That was a corker. Again, beating Hearts, this time away, 2-0. Very good. So, you know, I'm a bit dubious about their claim that this was the best match we had of the season. Honestly, I think we've had quite a number of really good games. But what can you do? Moment to forget, yes, 6-1 in the championship group, but we knew we were going to lose that, and I played a second team purposely. Good average attendance, total players used to 25, joined 8th in the Premiership, not too bad. And we're off on pre-season. So I'll be back with you when it comes time to report quickly on the World Cup. I've brought you back just because I noticed this game, the most astonishing game I've ever seen in Football Manager. I was just flipping through and you know, it kind of caught my eye. 5-7 Motherwell lost to St. Mirren, 6-9 on aggregate. But 5-7 in one game, okay? And the worst part about it is, if you check out the times of the goals, okay, they were up 4-0 at halftime. 4-2 at halftime. 4-2 at halftime. They missed a penalty on the 46th minute, which would have made it 5-2, and then they scored an own goal, so it was 4-3. No problem. They pegged them back immediately 5-3. And then St. Mirren woke up. St. Mirren woke up with a goal from Ross Stewart in the 65th minute, and then another one from Steve McGinn in the 75th, then Kevin Kerr in the 79th, then Gavin Riley in the 81st, and 7-5. How is that for a game? 7-5. And that's an away win by St. Mirren, so more power to them. That's just remarkable. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to show you from that part. I'm going to go back and keep on advancing. So I thought I'd bring you back for the commercial transfer here, if I can get to the right window. There we are. It really has gone well in terms of us making some money this year. 2 new sponsorship deals worth $210K a year, including a 2-year deal for the stadium sponsor worth $275K. That's up from $100. Not bad at all. And our broadcast revenues are up to $555K from $11.5. So that's a big bonus. And as you can see, all the other numbers are up as well. The other weird part about this is, okay, I can totally get Stokes, McGinn, Niles, okay, he was a lone player, but I can get that. Hanlon was a steady centre back all year, fair enough. But Matulevicius, who never scored a goal for us, who's played like 10 games, most of them as a sub, Matulevicius, not McGarten or Magooch or Slivka, who are our leading scorers. This is just, what? So, yeah, what? New budget, 76k. New budget, wage budget for the season at 3.7 million, and the transfer budget at 484k. Let's see what we're spending now. Just a little bit over 3 million, and committed spending 2.7. So we got some wiggle room in the in the wage budget there. That's nice to see. I want to quickly look over the team before we lose all the stats. Let's see who led in various categories. John McGinn played the most games for us, even more than our goalkeeper, which is pretty remarkable. Goal scoring, Simon Murray led the way. Remember, poor Anthony Stokes was injured for most of the season. So Simon Murray led the way with 14. Slivka from the attacking midfield spot got 12. McGinn with 10 from the Mezzala role. Danny Swanson, 7 more from the attacking midfield role. 6 more from up front with Martin Boyle. 6 more from Anthony Stokes up front. McGarten playing the other Mezzala role, 5 goals, 9 assists, but 5 goals. F.A. Ambrose got himself up front to score 5 goals. Dylan Magooch grabbed a few, and Aidan White doing spectacularly from the fullback spot, 3 goals, 10 assists. Really nice work. In the assist categories, I'm not very surprised to find that my first fullback, my first left back, and my first right back are 2 of the top assist people on the team, because of course they are. McGarten and McGinn, the 2 Mezzalas, are the other 2. So I think, for me anyway, the 2 Mezzalas are among the better players in our team. Alright, they finished 1st and 5th in terms of their overall rating. They laid in with goals. Between McGinn and McGarten, we got 15 goals and 17 assists out of the Mezzala positions. I would call that a pretty successful tactic. I'm really pleased with this tactic and how well it's working. I was worried initially about whether it would be too narrow, but the attacking fullbacks have really taken care of that problem. And I've really been appreciating the ways that the Mezzalas kind of lurk around this area over here and over here at sort of the point of the box, and then cut in from there, so that, you know, they're in the same space where an inside forward might be cutting in, but they're doing it from the midfield instead. I really like the way they've played. I think it's been a tremendously successful season for this tactic. Alright, let's cut the recording again there. And I'll see you in a minute. More awards here. I was not expecting to see McGinn named as Young Player of the Year winner. Really pleased with that. He did very well. We also came in 2nd in the Premiership goal of the season. That goal we saw by Martin Boyle earlier comes out. The Hibernian's goal of the season was 2nd in the overall goal of the season, which is not too bad. And Hibernian players named in the Team of the Year, we got Aidan White, F.A. Ambrose, and John McGinn. Considering that the rest of the team is 5 Celtic, 2 Rangers, and a single St. Johnstone, I'm actually kind of pleased that we managed to drop 3 players into this team. So that's not bad. See you in a minute. Hello, I'm back. My flatmate just came home, and I thought it would be easier to just let him do his thing, walk in and out as needed, and we'd get back on with this. So, Davidus Matulevicius is gone. Stephen Whitaker is gone, mainly because they came in with a reasonably good offer for him. Same thing for Liam Fontaine, a reasonably good player. He didn't play much with us last year. I think he made 6 games, 3 starts, 3 subs. And, you know, again, he's decent. He's even still got some pace, which is nice for a 32-year-old center back. But, you know, he wasn't really getting much playing time. And honestly, we have other players who would get the playing time, so I'm letting him go. We did bring in Michael Scott from Northampton on a free. Let's see if we can get it to show us a little bit about him. He's just a straight-up defensive midfielder. Not worth a lot right now. He'll get better. Dominic Bridge is a loanee from Sunderland. He's got good balance, good stats all over for a midfielder. He's only 18. He's going to get better. And I think that he'll get better enough with us that he can actually get some playing time. And he is filling in really well at the defensive midfielder spot so far. Freddie Woodman, goalkeeper that I brought in on loan. He is marginally better than Marciano. In some things, he's quite a bit better in other things. So overall, he's quite an improvement on Marciano. It does mean that lower down the order, my goalkeepers are being shuffled off, whether they like it or not, and a couple of them don't like it. But that's their problem. Now, I'm going to cut away here, and we'll go to another piece that I've already recorded. So, welcome back. We'll be right back. The last thing I want to look at, or at least the last thing I want to shoot in terms of making, is the Cup, because it's this kind of year, and that's the sort of thing we do, is look at the World Cup. So excuse me, you'll notice this here is the second round. I've carefully obscured who won it, at least I hope I have. If this is working properly, then I have done that. Let's hope it worked. Belgium beats Russia. Colombia knocks out Bosnia and Herzegovina. England beats Portugal 3-2. That's a nice one. Mexico knocks off the USA. That'll be a disappointing one for the USA, especially Trump's USA. Argentina beats Holland. Germany beats Croatia. And then Austria gets revenge for that tricky Austerlitz thing. That's the Austrians for you. Slow revenge. That was only 213 years ago. Italy beats Turkey. That's because they've been playing diplomacy and they know how it works. Actually, if it were diplomacy, it would go the other way around. Either way, the last two matches both won on penalties. Enough silliness. Onwards to the next round. Belgium beats Mexico 4-1, crushes them. England, big surprise, it's the quarterfinal. So what does England do? Go out on penalties, because that's what England does. Italy beats Argentina 3-2 in what must have been a corker of a game. And then Austria says, hey, Germany, you remember that Anschluss? Well, to hell with your Anschluss, and beats them 2-1. So extra time Austria have managed to knock off France in one round and Germany in the next round. How far can they go? Well, let's just find out. In the semi-final, where Belgium crushes Austria. Belgium have been crushing everybody. My goodness, Italy crushes Colombia. So we've got a Belgium-Italy final and an Austria-Colombia third place playoff. And Austria loses there. I mean, who really cares about third place anyway, but Colombia does take it. And the final, Belgium wins over Italy in a cracking 3-2 win. Here we go. Looks like Pellegrini scored first in the 61st minute. Lukaku brought it back 7 minutes later. Oh, sorry. An own goal by Darmian brought it back a few moments later. Lukaku took the lead. Yannick Carrasco, with a few minutes to go, popped it to 3-1. Andrea Bellotti brought it back to 3-2 with just moments to go, and they couldn't quite get there. Italy outshot them in terms of shots on target, but also outfouled them in a superb way. Meanwhile, Belgium just did what they do and made sure that they completely outplayed them possession-wise. As usual, people like Courtois, Alderweireld, De Bruyne, Fellaini, Nainggolan, Hazard, I mean, their team is just outstanding, and they really deserve this. And, of course, Lukaku on the bench. On the bench, all right? Not too bad. Jan Vertonghen, Super Jan, is on the bench as well, and Moussa Dembele, but looks like he's injured, so no shocker there. Brilliant player, fantastic player, Moussa Dembele. Don't let anybody tell you different. He is a world-class midfielder when he's not broken. Anyway, that's it for that. I'm bopping back over here, and we're going to do a little goodbye time. So how about if I hit the credits, and we say, all the goodbye stuff, like drop a like, hit subscribe, support me on Patreon, follow me on Twitter, do all of those things, do none of those things, whatever makes you happy. And I'm hoping this video is among the things that made you happy today. I hope you're having a great day, and take care.